One of the biggest criticisms of Cross Season 1 wasn't the acting. It wasn't the premise. It wasn't even the villain. It was pacing. The first season had strong psychological ideas, but it sometimes felt uneven, like it was either rushing through key developments or lingering too long on scenes that didn't push the story forward. Season 2 clearly heard that feedback. From the very first episode, the rhythm feels tighter. There's a sense of direction. Instead of stacking mystery on top of mystery without resolution, Season 2 structures its narrative with more control. Each episode feels purposeful. Scenes transition with momentum instead of hesitation. And most importantly, tension builds steadily rather than spiking randomly. One of the smartest fixes is how the season handles exposition. In Season 1, there were moments where character backstory and procedural details slowed the flow. Important information sometimes came in heavy blocks of dialogue. Season 2 spreads that information out. It trusts the audience to connect dots gradually. That subtle shift makes a huge difference. Another improvement is the balance between the case and Cross's personal life. In Season 1, the emotional beats sometimes interrupted investigative momentum. While character development is important, the transitions didn't always feel smooth. Season 2 integrates those elements more organically. Personal stakes enhance the case rather than distract from it. For example, instead of cutting away at peak tension, the show now uses emotional moments to deepen urgency. Conversations at home feel connected to the psychological themes of the investigation. The result is cohesion. The structure of the mystery itself also feels more disciplined. Season 2 avoids overcrowding the narrative with too many red herrings. Instead, it introduces suspects and twists with intention. That clarity helps the audience stay engaged without feeling overwhelmed or confused. Pacing in crime dramas is often about escalation. You need each episode to raise the stakes in a way that feels earned. Season 1 sometimes plateaued mid-season, with tension holding steady instead of climbing. Season 2 corrects that by layering reveals more strategically. Each discovery leads to a complication. Each breakthrough opens a deeper problem. That forward motion keeps viewers hooked. There's also a noticeable improvement in editing. Scenes are trimmed more efficiently. Conversations feel sharper. The show lingers only when it's building atmosphere or psychological tension, not when it's repeating information. That discipline gives the season a more confident tone. Another key factor is how the antagonist is handled. In Season 1, the slow burn reveal sometimes stretched thin. In Season 2, the psychological presence of the killer is woven throughout the season more consistently. Even when the antagonist isn't physically present, their influence is felt. That constant shadow maintains tension between episodes. And that consistency is critical for pacing. Season 2 also spaces out its major twists more effectively. Instead of clustering big reveals into 1 or 2 episodes, it distributes them evenly. That creates a smoother narrative arc. Viewers feel like they're progressing towards something rather than sprinting and stalling repeatedly. The emotional pacing improves too. Cross's internal struggles are explored without dragging the tempo. His psychological analysis of the killer becomes part of the investigative drive rather than a pause from it. That alignment strengthens the overall rhythm. What stands out most is confidence. Season 2 feels like a show that understands its own tempo now. It knows when to slow down for tension. It knows when to accelerate for urgency. It avoids the uneven stop-start sensation that occasionally defined the first season. Ultimately, pacing is about trust. Trusting the audience, trusting the story, and trusting the build. Season 2 demonstrates that trust. It refines the structure without losing depth. It sharpens momentum without sacrificing character. And that's why the improvement feels so noticeable. Cross Season 2 doesn't reinvent the series. It simply fixes its biggest flaw, and in doing so, it becomes a much stronger, more controlled crime drama.